Welcome everyone in another great session in this series of workshop presented by Hack.Slash. I am Neil Thakkar from team .Slash. Today we have with us all the way from Orlando, Florida, Mr. Dwane Hemmings, developer advocate at Vonage. Sir, would you like to give us a short intro about yourself?
You pretty much said it. I'm Dwane, a JavaScript developer advocate at Vonage, and happy to be here, located in early morning Orlando, Florida. So thanks for having me. Appreciate y'all.
That's great. This eve, Mr. Dwane is with us to give us a fantabulous session on using Vonage Video Express and video APIs. As a developer myself, I'm also pumped up for the session personally, and I hope our hackers get most out of it. So, sir, now the stage is all yours.
Awesome. So now, okay, so I'm gonna share my screen now. So with this, the actual workshop, I like it to be as interactive as possible. So feel free to ask any questions or anything that you may have any ideas. Towards the end, I want to have like a brainstorming session so that, can help you maybe along with whatever project you're thinking about creating for the hackathon. So this is pretty cool. So I was looking through the website of the hackathon, and it looks like you all doing your thing. It's nice. So yeah, so congratulations on that. That's awesome. All right, so like Neil said, I'm Dwane, a JavaScript developer advocate at Vonage, and we're going to go over like adding video to your application, and two ways to be able to do it, and pretty straightforward ways. So because if you've ever done anything with video and trying to create like a video chat on your own, I would suggest it to try and do it on your own, because then you get much more of an appreciation for the libraries and the different services that are out there that help make it so much more like easier. So some of the things you may come across are like peer-to-peer, NAT, turn and stun servers, WebRTC, WebSockets. What's I like offer and answer, that's kind of an amazing thing where you offer, say, hey, I'm ready to be like spoken to, and then someone answers and it goes back and forth, this exchange thing. And there's the signaling and candidates and SDP and media streams and codecs and firewalls and so much more that you have to kind of like take into account and keep track of. So what Vonage does is that we kind of put our APIs on top of all that. So we have a team of people whose job it is to actually follow up and make sure all those things are working. And so that's just a lot easier to be able to interface with all that and be able to do video communication. So one thing that's kind of like important to kind of understand is that, as you can see here, we have one person here and then something else on the other side. Now, what I find fascinating is that it doesn't necessarily have to be another person. It could be like an IoT device. It could be whatever. So whatever's on either side of these can be whatever, which is why I like hackathons, because you can use your imaginations and try to come up with all sorts of things. So, but the important thing is, let's just say there's two people, right? Now, one person is sending their video, and that's the publishing. So they're publishing their video to the other person, while at the same time as the other person is you're subscribing to their feed. So it's like a two-way thing. So you're publishing your feed and you're subscribing to the other person's feed. And so you can see there's two people, two streams. Now, what happens when it gets to be a little bit more complex? So when there's 6 people, it multiplies to be 36 streams, because everyone is publishing and subscribing to each other. And so with the Vonage API, we help make that easier. So all you have to do is just publish, and you're listening for the subscribers from all the other ones. All righty. And also, let me know if you have any questions and anything. Also, just feel free to let me know. So let's get coding, because at the end of the workshop, I want to be able to leave you all with 2 applications that are working and explain the code behind them. So that way, when it comes to the hackathon, you have something working that you can refer to and build upon, and that you understand the concepts and things behind it and understand why things are going. So that way you can take it further with your hackathon projects. All right. So now Clarice, shout out to Clarice. She's been helping facilitate all of this. She posted in the Discord to sign up for an account. So I'm not sure if people have, but we'll do that now. So here is the first application. So I created 2 applications to kind of get you started. I'm gonna post a link to here in the private chat so that they can let y'all know in, I guess, the YouTube. And I'll also be posting links to all these in the Discord as well, so people who can't make it live. So now that link there, I'm not sure how many people are familiar with Glitch. Oh, wrong thing here. Oh, that's my GitHub. So this, I'm going to this link here. I'm not sure of how many people are familiar with Glitch. Is it not? Oh, okay. Ooh, I thought I wasn't logged in. So Glitch is a place where you can like quickly prototype applications. And what's cool is that I can create an application and then I can send out a link like I just did to remix the application so that we're all starting off in the same place. All right. So now, so do people have their API, like their accounts at Vonage, the Vonage Video API accounts? If not, we could probably take a little bit to sign up if need be, maybe. Let me just shout out some folks in the chat room real quick over here on YouTube. Shouts to Keshav, Shivam with the $, nice, I like that. Tejas, Gaurav, Katik, Alpha Beta. Do y'all have your Vonage Video API accounts? Let me know in the chat room. I'm going to kind of check that out. But if not, let me see. I can sign out here. So what you do is you would have to create a password. You just log in. Where there was a sign up, you'd click sign up. If you already have one, you can just log in. Nice. Thank you very much, Cheyenne. I hope I said that right, Cheyenne. All right. So just let me get like a thumbs up or what have you in the chat room if we're good to go. Nice. Thank you, Alpha. Yeah, because like, again, ask any questions because what I'm going to show you is pretty short because we make it as easy as possible to be able to add video. And so there's not a lot to really show you. Now we're going to go in. I want to be able to actually show you the code and things that make it happen, but it's pretty straightforward. Nice. All right, cool. So everybody's good to go. Thank you all again. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a project. Yes, you can also use voice only. And we actually have a couple of options for that at Vonage. So because we also have our conversation API that you can use as well. But we can talk about that later as well. So thank you very much, Cheyenne. All right, so projects. Let's create a new project. And what we're going to do is we're going to Vonage Video API. Now you can also there's the video chat embed, which is another way to be able to embed video chat. It's just basically like an iframe. And you just put it on your project and you're good to go. So that's one other option. But, we're doing a hackathon, so we want to try to get, our fingers typing on these keyboards and creating stuff. So let's create a custom project. And we'll delete later. So that way it doesn't really matter if you see my API keys are secret. All right, create. So what it's doing is on the back end is going to generate all the things that you need. All right, cool. So now we have the API key and secret. If we go back to our application, so we just did that. Now we need to go to the env, the environment variable file, and then we're just going to copy and paste the API key and API secret right there. That one. All righty, then let that do its thing. All right, here we go. Bam. See how quick that was? Now we have our application here. So what's happening is we're presented with a screen to where you can choose your audio and video input. So we have the microphone. I'm going to turn off the microphone because I don't want to get any sort of like delay, but you can choose whatever it is. Let me know if it's working for you as well. Also, let me get a number 1 so I can tell the difference between the thumbs up. Let me get a number 1 if it's working for you as well. All right, let me turn off this microphone. So you see all the different audios and stuff I have here. All right, now we can preview it. So here we go. That's what I look like. And then once you're happy, you can join a room. What we'll do is also open up in a new window. We have to allow access to our video and camera. That's a way of kind of knowing that it's actually working. So you can allow it. Again, I will no audio, preview, and join the room. Now, a few things to notice. Here is the video that I'm actually publishing. So again, remember the publisher and subscriber. Looks like everything's working. Thank you. Sorry to you. Thank you. And so here is me publishing. And then here is me also subscribing from over here. And it's the opposite here, publishing, subscribing. Right? Also notice that we can toggle the video on and off. We can also toggle the mic, but my microphone's already disabled. And we can screen share, which I'm not going to do because that may break my computer and make everything go bad. So you can also share the screen. All right. So this is the application I kind of created. It's a very minimal, basic application just to kind of show how to get started with everything. So let's take a look at the server file. So it's all pretty much just standard Express. And so we're using Express as a framework for the server. OpenTalk is the previous name of the Vonage video API. And so we have that. And then we're just making an application from Express. And then the engine that's going to kind of run everything, we're using EJS files. And so that's how we're going to pass in the information that we need to be able to have the information that available on the actual application. And I'll show you that soon. And then the engine is just HTML. So that's just boilerplate stuff there. Here we're getting the API key and secret. Choco Cookie, that's a great name. And then so now we have this app session. If we don't have the API key or secret, we're going to throw an error saying, hey, we must specify the API key and secret. That's why it wasn't working initially until we put that into our environment variables. And then we're going to instantiate OpenTalk like client by new OpenTalk and passing in our API key and API secret. All right. Now what we need to do is that we need to create a session. And because the session is kind of like where everything is happening, right? So right now, this is a session that's happening between the two pages, the two users in the application. So that if there's an error, throw an error. Now, we set the session ID because that's the identifier for the session, because you can have multiple sessions and you can tell which one is which by the ID. So if you had multiple rooms, you would need to have maybe like a database, and then you'd have the session ID so that you could pass it in so that each person knew which session to be a part of that they're joining. All right. And then so we're just setting the app session to the whole thing. And then we're just serving the public folder. So that's what that's saying. Oh, and then so now we have a get request. And so at the slash, which is like the home, we have the request and the response. And so the request is going to have the session ID, because remember, the session ID is what differentiates all the different sessions happening in your application. And so we're pulling that out, calling it session ID. Now, in order to join the session, you need a token, because now we have to let everybody join into the session ID. So you need to be able to have a token. And so I have this OpenTalk, or the Vonage Video API has the generate token. And then you pass in the session ID, and then you get the token so you can join. And then we render the index.html, which we'll take a look at. And we pass in the API key, the session ID, and the token. All right, so these are the things you need in order to be able to join the video chat. All righty. And then that's pretty much it. And then here we just have we're initializing everything and just listening for on the port, whatever it is. All righty, cool. I'm getting thumbs up. I'm glad it seems to be making sense. Great. We try to make it as straightforward as possible. And if there's anything you ever run into, we have a community Slack where you can ask us all sorts of things, and we're there to help you out. And yes, you can do it on the Python server. We have a Python. You know what? Let me show you, because let me go to the documentation, because we have all sorts of, we have places that you can create your thing, your application on here. Take a look at the documentation. Great question. Yeah. So you can see we have web, iOS, Android, Windows, Linux. And so, yes, I think we have a Python. I have to double check that. I'm not sure. I know our, oh wait, server SDKs. Here we go. I was looking at client SDKs. Yeah, so we have .NET, Java, Node, PHP, Python, Ruby, and then there's actually REST. So if you want to take it all the way back, you can just make REST calls. Okay, so when I turn publish video to false, it still asks for camera permission. How to fix that? I need voice only. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, so really quick. I think there's a thing in the browser that you need to be able to get access, because camera and mic come as a pair. So you can't ask one without the other, I believe. Because I think I was trying to figure that out one time. And now you can not show the actual selection for the video. You can just have the audio. So, but I believe they come as a pair, camera and mic, in the browsers. Some browsers may do it differently, but from what I understand, at least in Chrome, like if you're asking for one, you have to get permission for the other. And so there's that. So you can do it to where it'll just only show the actual, and my screen just went out. Give me a second. Okay, I think we're back. Yes. All right. My computer is doing strange things. All righty, cool. So yes, Cheyenne. Yes, I believe you have to, now you won't publish the actual video. So what you'll see is probably something like this, if you want to, but it'll just be the audio. So you could just send the audio. Now, if you just strictly need voice, then we can look at the conversation API a little bit later. Just remind me later on, I can show you that stuff there as well. All right. Again, we have all sorts of ways for you to be able to communicate through your applications. All righty, cool. All right, so yeah, so like I said, yes, we have all sorts of ways if you want to be able to connect. So yeah, so the client side, iOS, Android, Windows, Linux, web, and then server side, .NET, Java, Node.js, PHP, Python, Ruby, and like I said, if you can do just REST if you want as well. What it does is that it turns the camera on for a second and turns it off automatically. Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing, because it needs to kind of check to make sure that it's actually there to be able to get access to. But then again, if you want to do just audio, we have an option for you through the conversation. So just remind me again to show you that, so you can do that. That'd be a lot easier for you. Cool. All righty, great. So now let's take a look at the index.html. So now we have the server, and that's how there's nothing really to fix. It's just the way that it's in the browser. That's just how the browser works. So there's nothing we can really fix, because in order to you have to give it permission, and so it checks your thing. And then so you can make it to where it won't show it. But again, if you just want audio, we can do the conversation API. I can show you how to do that as well. Okay, let's go. All right, so now for the index.html. So there's just kind of basic. So here is where we're getting, remember those API key, session ID, and tokens that we passed in from the server when we generated the token. So we pull them up here, and we're setting them to the variables here so that we can use them in our file. We're referencing the script.js, which is here. And so now, so Vonage video API demo right here. This is the preview container, was the previous thing that we saw where I hit click preview and it showed the preview with the options. So that's what this is. So you can select devices. This is where the preview video showed up. Then we have like the different audio sources, the different video sources. So if you didn't want to show the video sources, you would just take that out. Cool. And then the button to preview the selection, and then button to join the room. And then if you said no, you don't want to join, they would show an error saying, please allow access to camera and microphone for the demo to work. All right. And then this is this part here. All right. So now the video chat, this whole section is basically this here. So my video right here. Have you ever used the field set? That's such an underrated like element tag, HTML element tag. It's amazing. So field set is, I just say this field set. I say my video, and I say where I want to place my video. So it's just publisher, right? And then it will automatically kind of like draw this box around for me and put like the legend right here. I don't know if anybody's used that. I always found it useful. It's pretty awesome. All right. Then we also have my control. So another field set. And then this is where we put in the toggle the video, toggle microphone, the stop screen share. Whoops. And yeah, so you stop screen share and then leave. All right. And then, so this is, it'll pop up my screen share. This is just a div I have hidden until you actually share something. Right? There's so many different awesome, amazing HTML elements that are just there and so underused. So I try to use it as much as possible. There's also the details also, which you should probably also look up, which is kind of great as well. All right. If you haven't heard of it. And so now here is the actual my screen share. And then here is the screen share preview container. Then you show the screen share. And then where we add the people right here. So this is the sub container, and this is where we're adding all the subscribers, which is this here. Now notice I just placed the person there. There's no sorts of actual responsiveness to it. I just put like a 320 by 240 block, and it's right there. And yes, there are some WebRTC goodness under the hood here. Yes, that is like what's being used to kind of transport everything. And then it's going to like different stun servers or turn servers, depending on if you're behind a firewall. There's a whole lot of things. And so, yes, Zaid. All right. Cool. So, all right. So that's the HTML. Now let's go to the juicy parts, the actual JavaScript. So that's the HTML. That's how everything's kind of laid out. Okay. Now here, I always like to start off by getting references to all the different elements in the HTML that I'll be using. So like buttons or different containers and things of that nature. So I have all that here. Then I'm kind of like initializing a variable for the screen share publisher, because just like I said before, it's not necessarily just your video, like your webcam that you're going to be sharing. Like when you share your screen, that's also like being published and other people are subscribing to as well. All right, cool. And now here is where Cheyenne was kind of speaking about. So here I have this load AV sources, and this is where I get all the things, all the different devices on the computer that can be used for audio and video. And so here is if you have the media devices, then cool. Otherwise, you say we couldn't do it. Let's see. So now here, we're doing the get user media. And so we need to ask for permission to the devices to be able to list them. And so now the thing is, I don't think there is a way, because when you ask for the permissions, like I was saying, there is no, I wonder if there may be a way, if you look it up, to say, I only want audio, maybe you might be able to pass some parameters in here to say whether or not you want to. And so, yeah, so you can, maybe we can look that up afterwards. Just remind me. Cool. Then, so we get in the tracks. Cool. And then we get the devices. And then for each device, I'm just kind of adding them to that list, the drop-down list. And then that's that. And then otherwise, you have an error that there's no AV sources. Is that big enough? Let me make my a little bit larger there. Hopefully that's a little bit easier to see. All righty. Let me check the private chat. All right, cool. We're good. All right, cool. Then I just have this function to handle any errors. Just kind of put that off to the side. I can just call that if I have an error. Now, here's where we start in the preview. And so we have the selector. I'm just setting it to the value. The constraints, I just have the device ID. This is all stuff that has to do with like get user media. All right. So now the thing is, so here are the constraints. So this is what I was saying before. You may be able to say like video none here. And so it may not flash the camera when you're listing. So you can try that. That may work. And then we have the preview video play, so that when I click preview, it called that and made that play. OT is open talk. So right here, we're initializing open talk. And then we call it OT. Let me, that is where I initialize it. A lot of code. So initialize open talk. So OT, hold on. Because when we hold on, give me a second. OT. Right. OT is when we load the. Thank you for reminding me. So right here, we're loading the Vonage Video API, formerly known as OpenTalk. Thank you for reminding me. I was actually implementing this with Next.js, successfully done that. Nice. But the permission thing is kind of problematic. Yeah, so I think if you pass in those constraints into the get user media, loading it, you may be able to bypass the video thing, but you will need it for the audio though. And but yeah, thank you, Estelle. Yes, the OT is coming from here. So it's like a global object. Once you load this, it exports the OT object. And so that is what we're referencing. And so that's why I say global OT here, so that I can get it through my code here. Nice. Thank you for reminding me about that. All right, cool. Now, okay, so we're going to initialize OpenTalk. And so I'm taking the values that were selected from the dropdown. And then I like the console log stuff so I can kind of make sure everything's working. And so you'll be able to follow through. You can open up the inspector and you'll be able to see in the console, you'll be able to see things as they're kind of happening. So I leave those in for people to kind of check out. Cool. And then I say the video status, that's the button, like if it's enabled. So these are the status. So if it's the video enabled, audio enabled, and I just set the status here. So that's what that's doing. Because if they're null, then they're to be like disabled. All right. Cool. And then, all right. So now here is the publisher. Because remember, right here, this is my publisher. And so I need to initialize that so that the Vonage Video API knows what to have other people subscribe to. And so I'm setting a resolution of 320 by 180. So that's what this is here. The frame rate, 15 frames per second. The video source, and then the audio source, again, which is what we got from before. And then here is where we're initializing the publisher. And so the publisher is that same, we're passing in the element reference. So the ID, so remember in the index.html, we had the publisher right here. So this is that same publisher, the ID of the element where we want our published video to show up, right? So that is right here. And then we're passing in the options. And then if there's any errors, we'll send it to the handle error function that we spoke about before up here. All right. So now, once everything is good and we get the everything's initialized with the publisher, we set that to publisher. All right. So now, session, we created a session. Where are you? When we joined, right here. So right here, we're creating a session. Again, remember the session is the actual thing that's happening here, right? That is the video chat. And so remember, we needed to send in the session ID so that we know which session to join. And so we use API key and the session ID to be able to initialize the session so that this application can use it and join it. And so that is the session. Now, remember, in order to connect to the session, you needed a token. And so that's what's right here. So connect to the session using the token for permission here. And then in the token, you can look in the documentation, you can set like moderator, viewer, and those admin, I think it was. So you can set different permission levels and things as well. All right, cool. Then so now we have the session. And then so we set up a listener on the session. So we attach some event handlers. And so when the session is connected, so once this actually works, then we can session publish. And so we're publishing that same publisher, the stream. We're sending that to the session so that other people can see it, right? And then I just have a thing here that says session connected, and then the publisher, so you can see what's actually in the publisher. All right. Now, when someone else joins the stream, that sets off a stream created event. And so we listen for that. So session on, stream created. We have the event. And then so what we're doing is we're taking the same way we had the publisher options, we have the subscriber options. So we're setting it to, we want to append it, right? Because you can have it, I think, replace. It's in the documentation, but you want to be able to add people instead of like overriding them every time. So every time another person joins, let me do that. Let me show you what happens. So let me join as another person. And again, turn off the audio. And then join the room. So now you see there's two. So I just appended that on there. All right, cool. And then you see there's the other one as well. All right, cool. And again, I just slapped it on there. Like there's no sorts of responsiveness. Like you'd have to kind of take care of that yourself. All right, so now append, and then do 360 by 240 is the size. And then I'm subscribing to them. So I'm saying, how do I want to subscribe to them? I want it to append it. I want it to be this size. And so here's what I want to subscribe to is the event stream. The subscribers, again, which if you look in HTML, is this one right here. That's the space that I call this div. Yes, and then put in the options that I want to subscribe with, and then handle any errors. And then again, I have a console log to let you know that the stream was created and the event itself. All right, and that's that for all the video button stuff. So right here, the toggle video, I call that video button, the reference. And so I add an event listener for any clicks. And then to actually be able to like toggle it, you have to get the video source, right? So of the publisher. And then with that, if the get video source publisher, if that exists, then you publish video false. And then I set the thing to be disabled, the button, the video, because you turned it off at that point. Otherwise, if it's not there, that means there isn't a stream, and then you publish it true, and then you set it to enabled. All right. Now, I call that out because you'll see a little bit later when we look at the other option, how that's handled as well. All right. And then pretty much the same thing for the audio, except for the audio, it's a little bit different. you get audio source, and you can actually check to see, there's like a flag to check to see if it's enabled or not. And so if it is enabled, you can set it to false. Otherwise, whereas with the video, you got to check for a track. There is no like enabled flag, at least when I created this. And then for the screen sharing, we check for screen sharing capability, because I don't know if it's true now, but previously certain browsers didn't really handle screen sharing without like an extension. And so we're kind of checking for that now. But I believe now pretty much every browser kind of does it with no problems, no issues. And so we're saying screen sharing is available. And then these are just some options to show if you want to show the cursor when you're showing the screen. Logical surface is like things that are like hidden or not hidden. That's a whole thing you can look up. It's a lot of cool stuff. The get display media stuff is pretty cool. All right, cool. And then, so we let the capture stream equal null to kind of like to initialize it. And then we await, so the browser, the media devices, the get display media with the options. And so that way we can get the stream. I call it capture stream. And if we have one, then we can, that pops up the thing, like so you can choose. And then I set that as the screen preview. Then capture this video source. There's no audio. If you don't, depending, you can share audio. It depends, but I didn't share it for this one. And then, so you're just setting all the different things that you would like, the different options for it. Cool. And then again, like I said, even though it's not like a webcam, you're still publishing. So you're publishing to the session your screen share. All right. If you have an error, you can see if there's an error. And then I just, I take out this start screen share button and show the stop screen share button. Pretty much that's up here. And then now that you started the screen share, you can stop the screen share. And so we need to click the button. Again, I just have the click event handlers right here on the buttons here. And so you destroy the publisher and that gets rid of it. But then you need to recreate the element, because when you destroyed the publisher, it destroyed the div that was in there as well. So I just have a function to kind of recreate it. It's just basically, I'll show you that. It just recreates right here, screen share. And so I just create a div. I give it the ID of screen share preview, and then I append it to the container that I had. Because once you destroy it, it's gone. Like you get rid of the whole thing. All right. And then the same thing for the publisher. Like once you delete it, it gets rid of it. And so you have to recreate it. All righty. That is that. Cool. And then the leave button, when you click that, I just, the screen share, I remove the listener from the screen share. I destroy the publisher so I can get rid of it. And then I recreate the publisher elements. Because once we just like destroy is like done, like the whole div is gone. So if you want to be able to redo it again, you have to recreate that div. All right, cool. And then if you're sharing your screen, I destroy it and then create it again. And then and then I start the preview and it takes you back. So that's what happens when I click leave. All that happens. All right, and then this is just what happens when you click the join room button here. All righty, cool. So now that all that is what you need to do to be able to create a video API, using the video API, a video chat. Cool. Now, let me get back to my slides here. So that was that. How was that? Everybody follow along? Oh, the console login glitch? Great question. So you can go to logs, and this will show you the stuff that's happening in the server. But to do, it's just like a regular website. So if you had it open in another thing, you can just inspect, and you just look at your console here. And so you can see I have all the different objects and stuff I have here going on. Session connected. So you can see all the stuff that's happening. So it's kind of amazing. Again, here's that stream ID that you need. Cool. And then here's that gets video source again. Here's the device ID. So yeah, so you can kind of follow along. I like to see like all the different things that's happening as the application is kind of going. And so you can kind of see stuff like you can get the video height and width and stuff. Like it's some cool stuff. And then there's like set video content hint. So you can look that up, see what that's about. That's pretty cool where you can actually, with that, if I think it's a newer thing that came out, you can say like, you can give it context, the thing that you're publishing, so that let's say if it's the screen share, well, a lot of times you don't need a lot of motion for that. So what you can do is you can set that down, like the resolution, so that motion doesn't really matter, because you need like the higher the frame rate, the better the motion that you get. But if it's just like static, then you don't need a lot of that. So it helps with the bandwidth and things of that nature too. So you can look into that also. That's pretty cool. And removing event listeners. And so the ID that I passed in, again, the publisher. Yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff. I always like to kind of drill down into the objects of everything. So nice. All right. Cool. Great. Now, hey, shouts to Clarice. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah. All right, cool. So there we go. How was that? Hopefully that was good. Let me leave this. Cool. I'll close this. Close this. This. Close. Let me just close this part here. Close preview. All right, because we'll come back to see this soon. Thank you, Cheyenne. All right, nice. Now, all of that, with that, like with all that code, you get a lot of control. Like I showed you, kind of show where I want the subscribers to be, how I want them to show up, all those things, right? And that's very nice, but it adds a lot of code. So what we did at Vonage is that, a lot of times you may just want something just quickly out of the box, right? You still want to be able to code some things, but you don't want to have to worry about where you want to place your subscribers and all these things, right? Some of those things that we had to go through. So on top of the Vonage Video API, we have the Vonage Video Express. And so not only is it just like another thin layer on top of the Vonage Video API, it also gives you some cool functions. So one thing is that, remember in the Video API where we had to kind of like keep track of all the subscribers and the publishers, and there's only one publisher, but all the different, like you listen for the subscriber, then what do you do with the subscriber and all those things? Well, with the Vonage Video Express, all that's kind of just placed into a room. So all you do is just join a room. So there is no more like listening for the subscribers and figuring out what to do. You just join a room and it handles it for you. But not only that, you get some more benefits, because we've been doing video for a while and we've learned a few things along the way. So we kind of add that to the Video Express so that we can handle it out of the box for you. Now with the Video API, you can do those things yourself. But with the Video Express, we can handle that for you. So there's things like the quality manager. So let's say, because all the publishers, they don't need to be all of the same like size. So as you can see here, the bigger video, let's say 1280 by 720, that's 1.3 megabits per second. Now, these other smaller ones on the side, they don't need to be that large because they only take up 320 by 240. So then we can bump that down to a smaller bit rate. So that way it takes overall the bandwidth is lessened. And so that's what we do here. Now, depending on how many videos are you showing. So for people who are not on the screen, we actually won't publish the video. So that helps save on bandwidth as well. And so there's a lot of different things. And if you're not speaking, then and you're not on the screen, we'll mute you as well. So there's certain things that kind of happen behind the scenes to help with the quality. So that's what the quality manager does. And then the experience manager, again, it helps with helping to decrease the bandwidth. So as you can see here, so 1-to-1, the audio is like 40 kilobits per second. Video And so a total of like 840. Now, if you have 10, it's basically multiplying by 10, and it goes up. 25 goes up even more, right? And so these are things where the unoptimized. Now, that's what happens if you want like the super best quality, high quality, then you do that through the video API and you can tune it yourself. Whereas with the Vonage Video Express, we want to make sure you have the best experience as possible. And so that way you can see when you have like 10 videos, again, doing things like making them smaller, not showing them, things of that nature, you can save. So you go from 400 for the audio to 220, from 8,000 to 3,200 for the video. And so that's overall like a 60% lower bandwidth need be. And Neil will attest to previously when we were trying to set things up, bandwidth is important. And so doing things like this can help you a long way. Because you have to remember, like, we want to be able to have to get video to everyone as much as possible. And so that bandwidth is a consideration for a lot of people all over the world. So we want to be able to do things to help with that. And then you can see with 25, it's like, again, since we're only showing a certain amount, it's about the same, right? And then the video and so you can see it's almost 80% bandwidth. Now, this is also cool. Remember when I was just chucking the session the subscriber videos just into the spot, right? Now, with the Vonage Video Express, we have the layout manager that comes along with it. Because otherwise, for the video API, you have to, in your like CSS, you have to say how you want things to be sized and how many there are and things of that nature. But with the Video Express, you don't have to worry about that. We have the layout manager. So it's a little video. So there's 1, 2, 3. And so it kind of just fills it in for you, which I think is kind of awesome. It's kind of cool. Right? And then as they go away, it kind of just fills in the space for you. All out of the box. All right. Cool. Oh, I clicked it again. But there we go. So now you've seen all that. I spoke about it. Now let's actually see it. Let me going to another link. So this is another demo that I created application, and it looks very similar to the video API one because I wanted to be able to compare them. And so let me in the private chat. Where did the private chat go? If someone could. All righty. I will let you know, Neil. Thank you. All right. So here is another link to Glitch that will show you the demo application. You'll actually create your demo application. All right. So we're remixing. It's called remixing in Glitch. So what it's doing is actually, see, it says Video Express demo, is making a copy of it, which it will show. There we go. So now it's called Burnt Automatic Badge. Yes. So now here we have that. If I could get everybody to kind of, it's basically the same thing. Let me know, here we go, if it doesn't work for you, because there's like a beta period where only certain people were able to use it. But let me know when you copy your API key and secret in your environment variables, if it works out for you. Otherwise, I can get you all added to the list and stuff. All right. So now we added that. It's going to work its thing. Bam. Here we go. So it's just like before. We select what we want to do. So I'm going to select no audio, preview the selection. Now notice it looks a little bit nicer than because the one I had before, I had to do that with CSS. Oh, I didn't. Oh, it went away. We'll take a look at it later. Let me refresh that. So you can see, and it has like the little muted thing here because you don't want to hear yourself in the preview because that gets kind of weird. So you'd have to the Video Express does that for you. Video API, you would have to do that yourself. Mute it. All right. So we got the preview. So now let's join the room. As you can see, it's the same layout. Let me open a new window. Yes, allow them. Cool. Join the room. Now you see, it took up the full space, right? Because with the layout manager, it does it for you. Now let me open up again another one. Join the room. And so you can see the layout manager did its job and it made it responsive. And so just like with the video, you'll see how it will kind of like lay out. It's kind of cool. All right. And then you can also toggle the video, except this time it's a little happy face. I already disabled the mic. Then we have this layout where the active speaker shows up bigger, right? And everybody else is on the side. And then you can toggle or grid and have everybody else be the same size. Again, out of the box with the Video Express. You'd have to do that with the Video API. You do that yourself because you can pin things and stuff there. But with this one, you just have the two modes and it just works out of the box. And then screen share, same thing. I'm not going to share my screen. But what will happen is that the screen share will take up more of the available space. Because normally when you're sharing a screen, you want that to take up most of the space. So that automatically take up a lot of the room. Again, I don't want my computer to explode, so I'm not going to do that here. And yeah, and then you can leave as well. All right, so now let's take a look at the code. So how's that so far? Everybody good? Let me close one of these. I can hear my fans turning on. I'm going to close on one of these. All right, now let's take a look at the code. Server, same server code as before. Again, we're just getting OpenTalk or the Vonage Video API, the node package. And then we're doing all the same things with the API key is secret. And then just, again, we're sending along to the page the API key, the session ID, and the token, which was generated through the library here. Well, we're creating a session. Oh, by the way, so yeah, so that make sure we had this. That's why initially we had the app session, so that way anybody can join the same one. Now, again, if you had rooms like different sessions that you wanted to kind of handle, you'd need to in like the back end somehow like say, all right, this room name correlates with this session ID kind of thing, and so that way you can look it up, and so that way you're able to get the session. All right, cool. And yeah, so there's that same difference. Yeah, Estelle, it's amazing being able. I'm assuming you're talking about the layout manager. Oh yeah, as a person who struggles with CSS, it's good to be able to just kind of have that out the box, just waiting for you. All right, cool. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing pretty good on time. Not too bad. All right. So now let's look at the views again. HTML, same thing because I want them to look the same, so it's just the same. Then here we go with the script. Again, I am just getting a reference to all the different HTML elements. Again, I'm loading the sources just so that we can be able to list them. Again, so that's just something in the browser. Request and access. Cool. Start preview. Now here, you notice that we have the Video Express object, which again is coming from loading the file here. You can also npm install it and do the same thing, but I just wanted to show that you can load it from a CDN. So whatever your preference is. And then again, we're setting the API key, session ID, and token so that we can use it in our code, which is what this is saying here. All right, cool. So again, we just have the Video Express, and it has a preview publisher. And so before I had to actually go and create that, this one, it just has it for you out the box. So you just put in the container and it'll do it for you. And that's why it looked kind of cool with like little red mute button and everything. That was kind of cool. And then, yeah, you just say preview media. Whereas, let me show you. Oh, nope, not that one. here. So now this is the video API. And so to create that preview, so you see right here, I had to do all of this in order to get the preview. Yes, you can do it in the back end if you, I'm not, yes, you're sending the API keys to the front end, which is not a horrible thing as long as it's not your secret. The secret would be bad. Never send your secret to the front end. The API key itself, not that huge of a deal. But there are ways around if you wanted to. Like you could probably like mask it, like encrypt it, and then send that to your backend to decrypt it. And there's a bunch of stuff you could probably do. But there's not a huge issue with sending the API keys. The secret, never send a secret because they're the secret. All right, cool. Let me see here. But great question, Alpha. Thank you. Oh yeah, so like I was saying, so in order to do the preview stuff, I had to actually get the devices that were selected, if they were selected, and then go ahead and do the media, get user media, and do all that stuff. Whereas with the video Express, we handle that for you just with the preview publisher. You put in the different things and it does it for you, which is kind of cool, I think. All right, so you can see, yeah, so it's a lot less code. It goes from here to this. Right? Cool. What else? So now the join room button. Now here again, so check the join room. When we click the join room, again, everything is a room. And so all you have to say is you just create the room and then you join the room. And then you pass in the, again, your publisher, how you want it to kind of show up. So 1280 by 720, which I probably didn't need because it's not that size there, but I just did it anyway. And if you want it to mirror, you put in the audio and the video sources, the bit rate, and there's audio fallback enabled. Like it will go back. Like if the one you didn't select, I think that's what it is. Like it will go back to like the default. I believe that's what that does. And then there's an error. So again, just to join the room, right? Because if there's no room, like if there's no room, then you create a room. That's what this is doing. Like if you left and came back, and then, but if there is a room, then you just join it already, right? All right, cool. So that's the join room. Now to do that here, see, we had to like initialize everything with a session, the publisher, then get the publisher object after you initialize it, and then we have to listen for the session and all these things. So you see a lot of stuff here, and it kind of keeps on going. Whereas now you just join the room. Right here. So you can see it saves a lot of coding time and things. And then with the room, you get some special stuff here. So in the room, you have the camera object and a screen object. So the camera object is the video that you're sending. So remember the publisher, that's kind of like your publisher. And so with that, remember how we were toggling the video? There's a lot of stuff to do. Let's show you that here. To toggle the video was this thing here. Remember we had to get the source, see if there was a track and all those things. And if there was a track, set it to false, to publish video false. Now with here, there's an actual is video enabled and it returns true or false. And so you just put a simple if statement, camera is video enabled. If it is, if it's true, disable it, disable video. Otherwise, enable video. So as you can tell, it's a lot more straightforward and a little bit easier to read, I believe. All right, cool, that's that. Let's see here. And then the toggle audio, remember, It wasn't too bad in the video API because we had that enabled right there, but here it's a little bit more consistent. So he says, is audio enabled? And it's either true or false. And so I think that's a little bit more straightforward and things. So yeah. Let's see. Cool. Oh, and here's the layout. Again, just set layout mode. And we have grid and active speaker. So if it's in grid, set layout mode to active speaker. If it's the other way around, set it to grid. And so that's, I feel a lot easier than trying to figure out doing that yourself. So there's that. And then remember the screen sharing stuff. So remember, screen sharing in the video API is just if it's another publisher. So you'd have to go first check to see if it's capable, then the display the options that you want. Then you have the capture stream, and then you have to get display media with those options, and then you have to get the capture stream, and then you have to publish that stream. And so that's all this here, right? Whereas with the Video Express, room.start screen sharing, and then you put in the div where you want it to show up at, the ID of the div, and then you just set the buttons like start and stop. That's it right there. That's all there is to it. Because again, Room handles all the subscription, publishing, and all that stuff for you. And then to stop it, you just say stop screen sharing. That's it. And then the leave button is just room.leave. You did room.join, so it makes sense if you want to leave, it's room.leave. And then I just start the preview again. And and then just so you can listen for different events, because remember, there was the out of the room object, there's the camera object and the screen object. And so you can kind of say like, well, what happens when, so you can listen for when a screen share starts. And so you could do whatever you want. The screen sharing has started. So you could, if you wanted to do something, I don't know, make confetti happen or what have you, you could do that. And then also if it stopped, and then when you're actually connected to the room, you can do stuff if you want. And then on the room, if you wanted to, you can listen for when a participant joined, right? And so when a participant joined, you get that participant. So it's kind of like the subscriber. That's if you want to do anything like special, right? And so when the participant, the camera's created, you can say, hey, the participant's camera was created, and do whatever you want with that knowledge. Same thing if it was destroyed, if they started the screen share, if they stopped the screen share, or if they left, you can do all those things. If you get disconnected from the room, there's a disconnected event, and you can listen for that. And if it's reconnecting, same thing. And then what happens when it's reconnected? So it just makes it a little bit cleaner, because a lot of the stuff is kind of like abstracted out of it. And so it just makes it a little bit easier to kind of work with and get something up and running pretty quickly. So now, did everybody was able to get the Video Express working? Let me know. Just let me know in the chat. But yeah, as you can see, you save a lot of like boilerplate code and things that we give you the option of, do you want to actually work on that? We have the Video API. You can customize to your heart content. Or hey, I just want to get something up and running quickly. Then we have the Video Express for you. And there's still some coding involved. You can still do something, like I said, with all those different listeners. You can still have some control over what's happening. But a lot of the stuff behind the scenes, we take care of that for you. So it all depends on where you want to do in your application, because we understand that a lot of times the video is just like an addition to your overall application. It's not like the main thing. So we want to be able to have it to where, oh, I want to add video, a video chat. Bam, here you go. So you don't have to go through and figure out and all these other things to try and make it work. We try to make it as easy as possible for you to add it. All right, cool. Astle, you're able to get it working. That is awesome. That is great. Thank you very much. All right, so that is the Video Express demo. As you can see, when I left, it started the preview again. Cool. All right, cool. Back to the slides. Now, there's other also we have some other video features. There's things such as archiving, where you can record, save, and retrieve your sessions. And so it's both available on the Video API and the Video Express. I didn't include it here because it was kind of like out of the scope, but you can there's a way around it. And we have like a demo application that's using React with the Video Express that is like a full featured like application. It's amazing. And so I will link to that in the Discord as well. So you can check out that GitHub if you're a fan of React. And so also, this is what I really like about the Video API and everything, that the broadcast feature. Now, there's two different types of broadcasts. There's the live interactive video broadcast. So remember before, these two are publishing and subscribing to each other, right? So they're seeing each other's video. Whereas you can have other people who are part of the session, but not publishing. And so all they're doing is just subscribing to each person's publishing. Yes. And so that way, with that one, it's pretty quick. And if you wanted to bring somebody up, you just allow them to be able to publish, and then they can join as well. So that's pretty cool for. So it's the latency is a lot less because everybody is a part of that session. Now, but there's a limitation because since everybody is a part of that session, then like resources are being shared, and you can't have too many because then people's computers may not be able to handle all the different subscriptions and things, right? But now there's another option, the live streaming broadcast. And this is what it's really cool with the Video API, is that it takes this session, the publishing and subscribing, and it combines that into a single stream that you can then view like on an HLS video player. And then also you can send that to YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, I think Twitter, anywhere where you can have like an RTMP endpoint. So people familiar with streaming, if you use like a program like OBS or whatever, what that will do is, like if you use like YouTube and you stream to YouTube, you'll notice that you'll have like a RTMP server and secret. So with that, you can actually plug that into the API, to the broadcast API, and then broadcast your session, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so again, we have the YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, anything that has like RTMP endpoint. And so everybody is just watching that stream. They're not a part of the session. They're just watching a combined stream. And with that, doing the combination, it gives me like 10, kind of like with YouTube here, it gives you like 10, 20 seconds of latency. So it all kind of depends. But with this one, you can broadcast to like an infinite number of people. So whatever YouTube can handle, basically, or Twitch or Facebook or whatever. And so you can broadcast to a lot more people doing this way. But again, there's a little bit of latency. And if you want to do like a little bit more real time, but then you can't have that many people, then you could do this other option, the live interactive broadcast. All right, so that is that. Now, I'm not sure. I know you can do it with the Video API. I haven't. It's coming to the Video Express. I keep bugging them, but I think I'm going to play around. I'm going to try to see if I can hack a solution. And hey, maybe you can do it also for your hackathon. I'm going to see if there's a way to do the live streaming broadcasts with the Video Express. Because I think there might be a way. It's not implemented yet, but I think I can hack a way around it. But we'll see. All right, that's that. So that's it. Thanks. If you have any questions, we got about like 18 minutes. Questions. Do you have any ideas? Is there anything that you're thinking about doing? Let's brainstorm some stuff. You know what I mean? Like, let's see. So if Neil, if you want to come up and, you know, if there's anything you want to talk about, but I'm basically done. Thanks again for having me. And I'll be in the Discord as well. Again, I'm going to post a link to everything I kind of spoke about in the Discord for anybody that was not able to catch it. And yeah, you can check it out for yourselves. And yeah, any questions or anything, please let me know either now or in the Discord. And yeah, again, thanks for having me. So what are y'all working on? Y'all, I know it starts in a couple of days, right? It starts the 7th. Neil, if you want to come up and verify that. But yeah, so is there anything you all are looking? I know. Oh, Cheyenne, you were asking about the audio stuff. So yes, so let's take a look at where is it? Hold on. I'm going to go take a look at our documentation real quick, because we have in our documentation now. I know my main responsibility is like the conversation API, the client SDK, and so with the client SDK, the Vonage client SDK, you can do a bunch. So here's that in-app voice. So if you want to build an application with just voice, then this could be an option for you. And what's cool is we have some tutorials here. So like this one, you can make an in-app voice call. So you create an application, you can dial a phone number, like a real world phone number, and then call an actual phone in the real world and have a conversation. It is, so that's what this is doing. This tutorial sets you up with. Then we also have other tutorials. So making app to app. Real quick. So then this one is creating two users log into your application. One can call the other and you can have a conversation. And then we have one where it's receiving an in-app voice call. So dialing a virtual number, because you can purchase a virtual number with Vonage. You can have your application where a person calls the number, your virtual number, and you'll be able to pick it up in your application. It's pretty cool. All right. Thank you, Hemang. Let's see. Shivam, nice. Thumbs up. Nice. Alpha, thumbs up. Nice. Thank you. Etiquette. What if we want to prevent the same people joining twice in the same meet? How can we prevent that? What you can do is, you can have your own like authentication. So you can use like whatever you want. Like there's like auth0, so you can use that. So you can set up a layer beforehand, and then you can check with that whether or not you want to let that person in. So you can use that if you want as well. You can maybe have someone sign in with like Twitter, and you only have like one Twitter. Well, you can have a bunch of Twitter, but you can only have one username. And so you could like block that if you want. So there's different ways. Or like if you want to use like log in with an email or what have you, you can do it as that way also. So that's how you would be able to prevent people from joining twice. So you can add them to like a block list. Yes, you can use it with Vue.js. It's just JavaScript, so you can use it with whatever. And so yeah, so React, Vue. Like I said, I will post a React version. I like to use just vanilla JavaScript because I know people use different frameworks. And so, yes, you can use it with all. So I like to use, like, here's the JavaScript that you need to make this happen. If you want to use Vue, you can use Vue on top of it, React, all that stuff. So yeah, I try to be agnostic with it. But yeah, I will post stuff so you can check it out. Anything else? What are y'all planning on building? Let me know.
Yeah, and minimal JS helped to everyone to understand also.
Yep. Exactly. Because I want it to be like, here is the code. I don't want to have to worry about, what level
And
React.
thanks a lot, sir, for this session. And Team DotSlash is very pleased to have you here. Again, Vonage is one of the top-notch sponsor for this hackathon, and so we are very much grateful for that too. And this hands-on session was really great. I also personally enjoyed it very much. Thanks a lot again.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. And yeah, like again, any questions or anything, feel free to let us know. Clarice is in there also. I'm in there. Maybe some other folks may join as well. But yeah, I appreciate y'all coming out to the workshop. I'm glad everything like worked technically. So yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Do you want I can show you some random things that I make a lot of random projects. So I don't know if you want to see some of the random projects I created. So if you want to share my screen again, there, Neil. But like one of the first ones when I joined Vonage is tickreacttoe.com. And it was just a project I kind of created. I think there's like a delay. And so I went to a coding boot camp. I know y'all in university, which is amazing. and that's awesome. I went to I was kind of coding. That's why my handle is like lifelong.dev. I was always doing it as like a hobby since like young. And so it wasn't until I was like, yeah, let me see if I can turn it into a profession. So I went to a coding boot camp, and here I am. And so one of my projects was creating a tic-tac-toe game. All not like, because all the tic-tac-toe games I saw previously were like both players had to be there. I wanted to kind of do something different to where you could have players in different places. And so I created a thing where you're able to kind of send your player moves back and forth. So it wasn't on the same screen pretty much. And so joining Vonage, I added video to it. And so hopefully this works, because it's been a while since I did this. So I'm going to do X. Now this may take a minute because again, I haven't used a server. And so it'll probably take a while for it to kind of spin up. But the idea is that you can, you get a link to your game that you can then share to someone else, and then you both can join the chat. I have a video of it working on my website, lifelong.dev. As you can see also in my thing here. All right. So you can see my portfolio. I have random projects. So here you can see, you type in a name, or maybe you can't see. Let me do that a little bit bigger. And so you select whether you want X or O, shows the video, and then the next person, you can join the room. So I created like a bit.ly shortener using their API. You're able to go to the next one, and you enter in the name. And then there you go. You're playing tic-tac-toe. And now the moves are sent using the conversation API. So you're able to, so when one player selects one, I send the mark and the position, and it goes back and forth. And then I have logic that says, hey, whether this person won or not. So that's that. Oh, yeah, here we go. And yeah, allow. Yes. Oh, I think it's because I'm using way too many, I'm streaming too many videos and my fans are coming up. But yeah, so it works. You can see how it works there. Cool. I also I think I did a presentation on it. So I go into it more. So you can see my presentations. I'm into web components, so I've been doing a lot of web component stuff. Web components, something else. I don't have it here. Do I have it here? No, I don't. But I did a presentation on it somewhere. And where did I do a presentation on that? I have another website I created for my slides. It's actually called myslides.page. Again, if you have any questions, I'm just going to kind of yammer on until we do stuff here. Yeah, Google Auth, it would also work. All right, let's see. No, that's not that one. No, not that one. No. Nope, I don't have it here. All right, well, I have a video somewhere of me going over how I created it. Yeah, what else? I also, so for the broadcast stuff, I do this until it works. I do a like a Sunday like study group session thing, and so every Sunday, and with that, there's like there's a focus work time, and then we have like little breaks to kind of break things up. And so what I do is those break times, I actually like I broadcast that. So the same way that we were showing before, where you can like broadcast it, I broadcasted like the YouTube and to the actual page. And so I have all the different break sessions here. And we talk about little random things, you know, what people are working on and stuff. And I have it also to where you're able to join. So we have like lightning talks. So if you ever wanted to kind of come up and talk about whatever that you're working on, you can do that as well. And yeah, so that is the until it works thing. What else? So yeah, so there's so many different things you can use video for. And so I'm very interested in seeing what you all create. And for the did you use Gatsby for those animations? No, it's just CSS. I'm assuming maybe you mean like for these things here. Yeah, that's just CSS. These here, like let's say if you want to view these slides, like that animation. So this I used Svelte. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with Svelte. Svelte is kind of awesome. For me, it makes sense, and so I always go to Svelte when anytime I when I create anything. And so Svelte is what I kind of go to, and Sapper is the framework for Svelte. So kind of like how there's Nuxt for Vue and there's Next for React, there's Sapper, but now they're getting rid of Sapper, and so they're going to have Svelte Kit, which is kind of like the framework for that. But a lot of my more recent projects, for example, I have this other one, xoxr.games. This one, I'm using another framework called Astro. And so you can use Svelte with that. And so you can use Svelte, Preact, React. I'm not sure about Vue maybe, but it's just a framework on top, and it tries to ship as few JavaScript as possible. And so it compiles a lot of your stuff into just HTML, CSS, and then, but you can make things interactive if you want. And so that's what I use for this. And so this is just that same tic-tac-toe game, but I'm getting into like WebXR. And so I created the tic-tac-toe game with WebXR, so you could actually put the tic-tac-toe board in the real world. So that's what you can kind of see here. And then you can also play like with a, you know what, let me just show you. Well, no, I have to join it. I'm not gonna do all that. But you can also, like using WebXR, you have like a 3D model and you can kind of go back and forth. It's kind of cool. And then to communicate using like, who was it again? Cheyenne. I have audio so that the people can play, the players can communicate with each other. And so, yeah, I make random stuff and I talk to people about their random stuff and I get paid to do that, which is kind of amazing. And so again, you know, let me know if there's anything that I can help you with. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep talking until you throw me out of here. And so, yeah. So hopefully you got a good like foundation to be able to build your hackathon projects with. You know, if you want to include some video in there. And like I said, we have all sorts of things. We have SMS. We have Facebook Messenger. You know, let's take a look at the Vonage stuff here. This one. So yeah, so we have the Messages API, and so if you ever want to, you know, send messages with Facebook Messenger, SMS, WhatsApp, Viber, we have all sorts of examples of that for you. The Dispatch, you may. Messaging is another one, is an older one. Dispatch, what that does is it like you can send out like your application and then you send the dispatch and like it will send all these things. So like if you want to reach people in different, like I said, we can send it to SMS, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. So it's a way of like reaching people. Like, so if you can't reach them on like SMS, then you can try the WhatsApp. So that's available for you. Again, we have the voice. So if you want to be able to make calls, verify. So this is like you can get a code sent to your device and you can enter that in. So that's a way of authentication there. Let's see. So like two-factor. Number insight, you can get some information on the numbers that you purchase. Conversations, like kind of like what I work on. So all the different things I was talking about, like being able to, like if you want to create a chat room, you could do that as well. If you want to have audio, you can do that as well. The client SDK is where it makes you, we have an Android, iOS, and JavaScript, and that kind of like interfaces with all the different conversation stuff that you can do. So make it a little bit easier. Numbers, again, the account, redact, audit. So there's all sorts of things you can do with it. And oh, you meant GSAP. No, I have not gotten into GSAP yet. I eventually want to get into it, but I just do everything in CSS. All right, we got 2 minutes left. Anything else? Any other questions? Anything? Anybody know what you're going to be building? You have any ideas yet? Let me know. But GSAP is cool. You can do a lot of cool stuff with GSAP. Well, again, thank you all for having me. Time went by super quick. I was kind of curious if we were even going to be able to fill the time, but thank you all for the great questions, and hopefully it was helpful. And yeah, so again, you can check out. Oh, I'll have links to all the documentations if you want to dive deeper. But hopefully, with the demo applications, you'll be able to kind of like have a great foundation to kind of start, and hopefully you kind of see in the code, what you need to do. And yeah, I don't know if Neil wants to like kick me out or what y'all want to do. But again, thanks for having me. Awkward silence as like the delay. Good luck, everyone. Also, by the way, good luck with your hackathon. I'm very interested in seeing what you all create. And if there's anything we can do to help out, don't hesitate to let us know. And yeah, thanks again. Had a great time. I'm bad at goodbyes. No problem, Neil. Thank you for having me. Anytime I get to talk to people about stuff like this, feel free to let me know. I'm always down to talk to people about stuff. It's literally part of my job, and I enjoy it. So the more I can do it, the more I enjoy it. So yeah. Hopefully, maybe once things get back to quote unquote normal, I would definitely like to come and see one of these in person if possible. That'd be great. Be a part of it. I guess Twitter, I guess, is a thing. So if you want to hit me up on Twitter, it's on my website. Let me close that. So if you want to, there's my Twitter, lifelong dev. And so if you want to hit me up or what have you, but there's that. I think you're muted, Neil, but.
Hello, Dwane. Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
Thanks a lot, sir, for this session. And Team DotSlash is very pleased to have you here. And hands-on session was really grateful. Really great.
Oh no, of course.
Again, Vonage is one of the
anytime.
top-notch sponsors for this hackathon, so we are very much grateful for that too. And I really enjoyed throughout the session. And the use of minimalistic vanilla JS helped a lot because everybody uses different frameworks, as you mentioned. So it was helpful for everyone.
Exactly. And I think we may have
Thanks a lot.
tutorials on using Vue.js, so you can check out like the blog post. I'll Clarice or I will like see if we can post any framework specific stuff as well. But thank you all again for hanging out. Appreciate y'all. This is really, really fun. So again, feel free to, if you ever want to reach out to me again, just feel free. I'm always down to do any of these. Thank you, Aniket. Thank you very much. I like that Black Panther thing there. Thank you very much, Alpha. Thank you, Astel. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, Astel. Appreciate that again. It's a good thing because like even though my my laptop is plugged in, my battery is about to go out. So made it just in time. And again, shouts to Clarice for helping facilitate everything. So thank you, Clarice, and the whole team. and everyone at Vonage. Thank you all once again for allowing me to be able to do these things. And yeah, I guess good luck.
Okay, then we will end this podcast. Thanks a lot for everybody, to everybody who are there and being patient with the third session. And happy hacking. Hope to see you all.